Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with more satisfying legal advice stories without any cliffhangers. And by the way, please let me know in the comments whether the timing of the second upload is okay for you or not. Without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Sold a 17th century functional swivel cannon, buyer claimed it was fake and reported it to the police. The police returned the item to me and now PayPal refuses to process the refund. And by the way guys, if you're only here for the JustNoHOA story, then please skip this story and the update. Anyway, so this one is going to be pretty out there and I already know people are going to call BS on this, but it is true. My granddad was something of a pirate fanatic. He struck it rich when he worked for a small company in the late 40s and 50s after buying the stock option. That small company later became Raytheon. Because of this newfound wealth, he was able to collect genuine period-specific naval equipment. Some of it was historically certified to either belong to a pirate captain or was confirmed to come from a ship plundered by a pirate captain. Certified is in quotes because outside of very specific pieces recovered from the ocean floor and very few recorded incidents of naval impoundment, no one is 100% able to tell authenticity, genuine pirate stuff. The swivel cannon I sold was merely an authentic cannon from the 1686, English made. No historical documentation about it to confirm or deny it was owned by a pirate or the target of a pirate. I informed the seller of this. I told him that this cannon was simply a genuine period-specific cannon with documents to prove only that it was made in 1686 in England for the British Navy. The buyer in this instance used PayPal to process the payment as his bank would not allow him to withdraw that much money at once without a phone call. Normally, I do not like doing purchases through PayPal. The buyer, who only lives about 40 miles away, mind you, went to PayPal to dispute it, claiming I claimed it was a pirate item. PayPal, in all its wisdom, said that the only recourse was to return the item to me and get a refund. Okay, whatever, I will eat the costs of PayPal to get out of this. I said that I would drive to a Walmart near where the guy lives and pick up the cannon in person, that way PayPal can issue the refund. The guy was playing ball until suddenly he stopped contacting me, and about a week later I get a call from some BFE, whatever that means, Country Sheriff Depot in Texas. They want me to come down to discuss a few things. Okay, this is not the first time something like this has come up when selling my granddad's collection. I go down without a lawyer, stop cringing, and brought with me the email logs, the listing and text communications and the audio recordings of our phone calls. Because of an unfortunate incident with one of my first sales, a sort, I take meticulous notes and have that Google Voice number recorded to protect myself. In the emails I say every single time that this is not a cannon that has been proven to be a part of any pirate captain of any fame. I played the audio recordings where time and time again I say that this is simply a genuine period specific cannon. I show them every text message between me and him and show how every time it is brought up that I clearly state it is not a pirate cannon. The sheriff basically told me to go and kept the copies of everything I brought. About 3 weeks later, the money is still in my account, the buyer is getting beyond pissed and threatening to sue, and the cannon is still in police custody. I get a call last Thursday and I am told to come pick up the cannon. I asked why me and not the buyer. The guy on the phone suddenly got pissy and said if I did not come pick it up, he would have it destroyed, to which I replied, it's a cannon. Life pro tip, never challenge a sheriff from BFE Texas. He will show you up. He told me several ways he could have it destroyed and get a huge attitude with me over the phone. Told me if I did not come pick it up, he would employ one of the many ways he mentioned and then slammed the phone down. I tried calling the buyer about this and told him if he wanted to meet me at the sheriff's depot, I would simply hand it back to him in the parking lot. However, he never showed up. I recorded the phone call and I did hand that recording over to his supervisor when I showed up. I felt that the way the officer spoke to me was more than unprofessional and was possibly breaking the law. I was still told to take the cannon and to leave. I do not understand the attitude that I was given by this sheriff's depot, but apparently people I know have experienced similar treatment by this particular depot. I informed the buyer of what happened and even emailed him the call recording to prove I was not trying to pull something. I offered to drive to Walmart near him so he could pick it up. He declined, said he would try to get the refund through PayPal now. Well, PayPal requires proof that it was returned, so I doubled up on my original offer. Said I would even pay for the shipping costs. Cause I was more than done at this point, I offered to bypass PayPal and simply pay him back in the parking lot of my bank. Or at least a branch near him. I have gone out of my way to make this as painless as possible on him. His last communication with me was that he would see me in court. Since then he has stopped all communication with me. I have not been served yet and I do not know what to do now. I do not want to have to hire a lawyer to make him simply take his money back or take his item back. He purchased it, so it is rightfully his property. He refuses to take his money back and refuses to take his property back. I am just about at my wit's end here and do not know how to proceed. Obviously, if he files I will have to respond, but the amount is just under 3k. Is this small claims territory or is this well into the region of full civil court? Will I need a lawyer with all of the documentation I have? And guys, a user in the comments said, good work on doing everything right and keeping great records. You have little to worry about. If it comes to small claims, the judge will either make an OP return the piece, unlikely, or provide a refund to make the plaintiff whole. That is the extent of what he can sue you for, barring a filing fee. If the buyer thinks he's going to prosecute you for fraud and get emotional damages awarded, he is living in a fantasy land. Just set the money aside and wait for this to resolve itself. And by the way guys, if you have watched until here and if you enjoy my legal advice content, please don't forget to post some star emojis in the comments and also like the video if you want to support me. Thank you so much. And accordingly, the next one is an update to the Texas pirate cannon sale. So I posted about a cannon I sold that belonged to my grandfather. Long and short of it is the buyer tried to say it was legitimately a cannon that belonged to a famous pirate captain. Honestly think he was just going through a case of buyer's remorse. Anywho, the money that is still in contention over is back in his account. I did not know that a seller could initiate a refund as I use PayPal rarely. I called up PayPal and talked to them about the sale. Side note, I did inform the lady on the phone that I was recording the call. I know you don't have to in Texas, but I like covering my ass on this stuff. They mentioned that there was a dispute. I corrected the record for them and told them everything that had happened. I told her I could provide loads of proof about everything, but that none of it mattered as I had the cannon. I simply wanted the refund to be processed. They processed the refund and I called it a day. Today I received a certified letter from a lawyer. This was not a summons, but a strongly worded letter. I was not served. I called the number on the letter and informed the lawyer of everything that had happened. I told him about everything and informed him of the recordings of phone conversations I make about this kind of stuff. I told him the refund was already processed by PayPal and that everything should be in the clear on my end. I also informed him that the only other response he would receive from me regarding this matter would be if I were served. After this, the buyer sent me a nasty email saying he would report my disrespectful actions to the online circles where I sell the collection off. I took the proactive step of sharing everything I had, names and confidential customer information redacted, with the online circles. Some did not care, others thanked me for the heads up, one laughed and said, "Lol, he's banned." So I am happy now. Thanks LA for the suggestion to go through PayPal on my end. I legitimately did not know you could do that. In the future I think I need to ask if anyone buying this stuff is a collector or someone who just happened to recently play Uncharted 4. The pirate captain the buyer said I claimed was Henry Avery, a prominent figure in said video game. And by the way guys, I'm sure that some of you know the Uncharted series and I'm curious, what is your favorite modern video game? For me personally, Uncharted is definitely very high up in the charts. However, I would not say that it is in the top 3 for me. Either way, also let us know, did you ever have trouble with PayPal when it comes to selling or buying? Let us know in the comments. And the next one is a juicy HOA story, and it is titled, "My dad's house is serviced by a community well that is now owned by an HOA. They want him to join the HOA to keep using the well. Does he have any defense? My father owns a house in an area with a community well. Back in the 90s, when he bought the land and had the house built, the neighborhood was all supposed to be developed. My father knew someone involved in the plans and bought a plot as soon as the opportunity came up. Meanwhile, the well was put in by a well service, and the way the contract worked, the well service owns the well and lines. However, there was some drama with the development company, and the rest of the development did not end up happening at that time. They eventually sold it all to a different development company, and that new company developed the block as an HOA neighborhood. They asked my dad to join. He said no, it was never really an issue again until recently. After the area was developed, the well company has always managed the well and bills people directly. They pay a very small amount that covers the cost of maintaining the well as well. Extremely cheap. Apparently, the well servicer recently wanted to get out of the well business, but not a lot of well servicers want to own the well. They want to service them on contracts, but don't want to be the actual owners these days. So they sold the well back to the HOA, who now owns it, and hired a new company to do the maintenance. Now here is a failure on our part. My dad received notice in the mail about this from the HOA, however they have sent him mail in the past that was not relevant to him, so he thought the recent mailings were crap and ignored it. So apparently there were 3 community meetings held about this that he did not attend. They have left him voicemails, but he admits that he listened to the first 2 seconds, thought it was political spam and ignored it. Now they have finally gotten in touch with him. Since the well is owned by the HOA, they are treating it as an HOA benefit, and they cannot give those benefits to non-members. They told him that they understand that he doesn't want to be held to HOA covenants just to keep getting the same water he always has, but since the HOA is taking on the burden of the well, they need to be fair to members and not have someone who's not paying for HOA benefits receiving them. It sounded exactly as slimy as it reads. They are offering him a special allowance to join the HOA, but not be held to the covenants such as house colors and fences and all those other things, but so he can use the well. I don't know if they are being slimy and pulling a fast one without a legal basis, or if my father should be legitimately concerned. Should he get a lawyer? And a user in the comments suggested he should absolutely get a lawyer. Unfortunately, that is all we can tell you here. Water use rights are complicated, and there's simply no way we can even begin to guess what legal options exist for your father here. I will say that it is worth bracing for the possibility your father will need to drill his own well if he decides against joining the HOA. The fact that they sent multiple mailings/calls strongly suggests that they have already gone through the entire administrative process of what is in essence taking ownership and control of a water source. There are notification requirements involved. The letters would have informed him of his rights as to the method and process of how to intervene in a manner that would have required the HOA to continue providing water. If I am correct in guessing this, then his right to appeal or seek remedy may be considerably limited. Again, this is 100% need an attorney territory. We cannot be of much use here, I am afraid. Best of luck. And by the way guys, in regards to water, are you actually able to drink your tap water? Or is it considered contaminated and too dangerous for human consumption? Let us know in the comments. Update to the Dead House story. Hi all, I wanted to update on the outcome of this. Sorry, it is honestly a pretty boring outcome. No cool courtroom outbursts at all, sadly. It turns out there were just some liars. And there was never actually a legal problem in the first place. My dad was just a victim of the HOA trying to scam him. He did end up getting a lawyer to see him ASAP. The lawyer told him the first thing he needed to do was to get records of ownership for the well and try to get his hands on the details of the sale. However, even after a couple days, he said he was having issues getting up-to-date records and was waiting to hear back from a contact at the county because he was not sure if the virus had delayed records filing or what. Then my dad got a surprise, a water bill from the original well servicer right on time for their 3 times a year billing. Obviously, that is odd considering he's been told that they don't own the well anymore and he called them up. It turns out he was just lied to. The well servicer was never looking to get out of the well business permanently, but rather was looking to contract out the day-to-day testing services of the well to another company, because many of the wells they service now require more testing than they did years ago, and they no longer have the manpower to do all of it themselves. But they were not selling the well, simply hiring an independent contractor to drive around and do well stuff all day. During that time, the HOA had asked them to attend an HOA meeting so residents could ask questions about things like filtration, and they mentioned it at that meeting to let residents know that they would be seeing a new person going around doing testing, and wanted to let them know because the testing involves taking samples from individual properties and they did not want anyone to be freaked out. So when the HOA told my dad they now owned the well, they were just plain lying. When the HOA said that they had a new company doing the servicing, they were half truthful. A new company was doing the testing, but the HOA had nothing to do with it. The contract is between the original well servicer and the individual guy they are contracting out to. The original well servicer also told my dad that the HOA had reached out and informed them around the same time they were contacting my dad that they were taking over handling billing, and that the well servicer should bill the HOA for all properties, and the HOA would then include it in the HOA dues billing to streamline things for residents, claiming it would make their residents' lives easier if they only had to keep track of one bill and not multiple. However, the HOA actually has no authority to just declare this, and the well servicer just outright told them no, they will continue to bill individual properties. The timing of this coincides with when they started contacting my dad, so they were just trying to pull a fast one on everyone. The well servicer is confident that the HOA has zero legal authority over the well situation, and says they respected the HOA in an organizational capacity, like calling meetings so residents could ask questions, and were professionally annoyed with them trying to insert themselves into billing, but they were not aware that the HOA was claiming to own the well. They told my dad that he should not give the HOA any more money for water servicing or accept water servicing related information from them in any way. So going back around to the lawyer, my dad got an appointment with the lawyer to tell him all this, and the lawyer had his own news that matched up entirely. The reason he was not finding up-to-date records following the supposed sale was because he does not believe a legitimate sale has happened. He thinks my dad was just getting scammed. So all in all, my dad will continue to use the well as he always has. He is pretty angry that he had to spend a bunch of money to find out what he already knew. That the HOA is made of dicks, but we are definitely breathing a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, as for the HOA, my father's lawyer has suggested that there may be room for legal action against the HOA reps for what was basically fraudulent claims. My father does not want to spend the money pursuing it at this time, but the well servicer did ask for copies of everything he received from the HOA because they want to review it with their own lawyer. Thanks to everyone who gave advice, we are grateful for it, and also for the fact that we did not have to use most of it. And Ripestars, if you have ever dealt with a scam HOA, please let us know about your story in the comments, and furthermore, unfortunately, we have reached the end of today's video, but once again, please tell me in the comments if the upload time of this second video today was good for you or not. Maybe it should be later, maybe it should be earlier. Please let me know in the comments. Either way, I hope you had fun watching, and I see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much.